Hello, everyone. Welcome once again to the Captain Logan Show. It is I, Captain Logan, and joining me, as always, is my chat moderator and co-host and my son, Jason.
Jason.
Hello, Jason. Are you making fun of the way I chose to introduce this evening's show?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Why would you do so?
Just turn it on, you go,
I'll just make sure it's even dumber next time.
Oh, man.
That's my whole plan. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for joining us tonight. We're going to chat with you for a couple of hours. Our lead-in topic tonight is about the wild superhero movie slate for 2027. It feels like it could include virtually every major superhero you've ever heard of. It's possible. It's not just what's coming out in that year. And we want to talk tonight about just what those dates are in case you haven't heard, and how we think that's going to impact the overall interest in superhero movies and how both DC and Marvel are likely to fare at the box office. I know we talk about this a lot just in general, but I want to look ahead a little bit because it's pretty crazy that we're going to, for the first time ever, have a year with arguably the three most popular superheroes there are in movies that same year, Superman, Batman, and Spider-Man, and to boot, and then of course with Secret Wars, just possibly everybody else, at least with Marvel, and then so again, possibility, especially with who knows who shows up in the next Superman movie, because James Gunn likes to use characters from all over the DC universe. So literally anyone you've ever heard of has the potential of showing up there, and then the last Spider-Verse movie, so anything in Spider-Man has the potential to show up, and any other version of Spider-Man that we haven't had yet will, I'm sure, arrive in that movie. Yeah. And it's also interesting that it will be just over a decade since BVS came out. BVS comes out in 2016, and then in 2027 you get a year with both a Batman movie, a Superman movie, which has never happened.
Yeah.
But we've had a movie with both of them. Mm-hmm. And they may or may not be in the same universe.
I didn't think about that, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So we'll talk a little bit more about that here in a little bit. As always, you can leave a super chat at any dollar amount tonight that guarantees that we'll talk about your topic. And in the second half, we'll open up for Q&A. We can talk about anything you guys want to. If you talk about the lead-in topic in a super chat, we will read it straight away as we're discussing superhero movies in 2027. And we'll touch on next year, too, a little bit. But anyway, make sure and tag Jason at Jason, Jayson. If you leave the Y out, he won't read your comment.
Yeah, I won't.
He just won't do it. That's a massive personal pet peeve for Jason. He just can't have it. Like, we've finished shows before, and he's just screamed where the whole house could hear it. He's just like freaking out, and I'm like, calm down, you know. He's, oh, I'm sorry. No, that's Freddy when people use IE instead of Y. That's what I'm thinking of. Mm-hmm. Alex Barron, they aren't in the same universe. I'm using all my willpower to prevent that. Well, good luck. Are you a Green Lantern? Did you get your ring?
Can do anything?
Well, he can if he's. I mean, even if he's a Green Lantern, I'm not sure what physical green constructs will do to stop that. But yeah, unless he wants to go, just bash down Warner Brothers. But I wouldn't condone such an action. I don't think he should do that.
He's gonna. Yeah.
We've got other fun segments this evening as well. Jason's going to bring us something at the start of the second half. I don't even know what. He's got some kind of a cool segment. Jason, are you doing a review?
I'm doing a review.
Oh, I do know what you're doing then.
Yeah.
If you decided to go with the review plan. Yeah. And we'll do another piece of news at the very end of the show for our final topic tonight. So we'll kind of bookend with new stuff this evening. We'll talk about some video game stuff at the end of the show. But right now, we're going to open with a Patreon question, as we always do. And I should say, if you don't want to leave a super chat, we appreciate you just hanging out with us and interact with us in the comments if you are so inclined. And again, you can tag Jason with questions even outside of super chats, and we'll get to as many as we can. We only have one question so far on Patreon. I haven't had a lot of takers this month, so quick plug for that, patreon.com/geekvolution. Just the $2 tier lets you on a monthly basis leave questions for this show, and we will guarantee that we always answer one of them for you. Jason, what is our singular Patreon question? And I actually peeked at this one, and this could have been a lead-in topic on its own.
Yeah.
This one might take a few minutes to do.
It's a good one.
Go ahead.
All right, this is from Okay Great.
Yeah.
And Okay Great says, "What are your top 5 favorite TV shows, and what do you consider to be the best season from each?"
Yeah, I thought about making an official list for this, and then I went, no, I'll just do it. I thought about this a little bit, but I looked at this just a few minutes before the show, so I haven't had a lot of time to noodle it. But I thought, well, I'll try to answer this off the cuff like I was doing the Captain Logan show, and I could see us down the road doing a list like we did with movies of just favorite TV shows of all time. I've not been on the biggest TV kick in a little while. Like, I don't really keep up with much current.
Yeah.
It's more of a time thing than anything, and like streaming model makes me less interested than I used to be. So many shows will start okay and then fall off real hard, and so I don't get invested like I used to. So a lot of my picks will, of course, be now older things.
Yeah.
Stuff that doesn't feel that old to me, but certainly will to you if you're younger than me, like a lot of you guys are, and if you actually keep up with stuff now.
I think I can attempt a top 5.
Yeah.
I think I have 5.
Do you want to do it first?
Yeah, I can do it first.
All right, let's hear Jason's first.
Not in any order, by the way.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll start with Star Trek: The Next Generation, season 5.
So that's certainly one of mine, and probably right at the top.
Mm-hmm.
And 5 is what I would have said too. Well, it's like a tie between 4 and 5.
Yeah, I would say 5.
I really like the family thematic thing we're doing through season 4. I think 5 might have technically more of the best standalone episodes, but what I really like about 4 is that it's at least thematically more serialized than they've really been allowed to be.
Mm-hmm.
And Star Trek has a really interesting track record with season 4s.
And 5.
Voyager's best season is 4. DS9, I think it's maybe even better by 5, but it has a really good solid 4, of course.
Voyager has a good 5 too.
TNG has a, yeah, I guess Voyager has the same trajectory as TNG when it comes to this, where I would say the same thing about 4
Their
and
season
4 and
6
5.
is worse though.
Yeah, no, that's true. And then their 7 is also somehow worse, if that's even possible.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway.
I always forget that there are 7 seasons in Star Trek, in DS9, TNG, and Voyager.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, what are your other shows real quick?
And then, okay, so I want to say The Penguin, but that has 1 season, so I'm going to say
still
the
TV,
first season
so
of
you can.
The Penguin.
Is that its best season?
It is.
I mean, they've talked about maybe another one.
But also no.
I don't want that to happen, personally, but...
And then X-Men with season 2. That's his best season.
Yeah, and he
90s X-Men.
And he didn't say live action or animated. We can, I guess, do this with anything. I was thinking more live action stuff, but I guess it's open to everything, so I might throw a cartoon or 2 on mine too.
And then I guess I'm trying to think about what Fresh Prince's best season is.
Oh yeah,
probably 2. I'm gonna say 2. That's the one I go back to the most.
Fresh Prince is a sitcom that I think falls off somewhere.
Yeah, but I think it's later than you do.
Oh, really? Okay.
I actually really like the weather stuff with the guy who falls off.
I think that's where it's starting to fall off.
Yeah,
I think that whole thing is
stuff.
funny, but I think it goes too far.
Yeah. And then
Frasier also has this problem. By
really?
the way, yeah.
I have only seen the pilot of Frasier and nothing else. And then Lost season 5.
Yeah.
Because.
And I'm not with you on 5. I think best season is 1, but
I mean, 1, 2, and 5 are all great, but 5 is amazing.
Okay, mine I guess would be, I have to also say TNG, although I know I've gone over this lots of times. I think DS9 is technically the best Star Trek show, but TNG is my favorite, and that's, my first love with Star Trek. And Captain Picard is my favorite character of all time. The Picard TV show notwithstanding. But, yeah, God, how exactly do I want to do this? Because there's a part of me that almost wants to do it by genre, and that would almost make this easier, where it's like if I do a sci-fi show, it's TNG. And then if I did a sitcom, it's Friends. And then if I did a animated series, it's Batman TAS.
Yeah.
And then it's like, what are the other two? If I did like a action thriller kind of show, it'd be maybe 24. Or,
and then
or like
that's
political
also
thriller
season
type
5
stuff
for you, right?
or Breaking Bad, although that's more like psychological thriller or like crime thriller.
Yeah.
24 would be season 5.
There's a lot of really good season 5s.
Breaking Bad is hard to break down by season because it's so of a piece, but it's gonna be when we're introducing Gus Fring, so that's probably, what is that, 3? I think that's 3.
And then
and then I'm trying to think of even like another genre if I was breaking this down by genre.
Yeah.
But I guess then it'd be, just because it's me, probably superhero shows. So it'd be the Tick. It'd be Amazon Tick.
Yeah.
And that only had 2 seasons, and the first is inarguably the best. Yeah.
I was gonna ask you, what's your favorite animated Tick season?
If I put animated Tick on here, it would be season 2. I think it's tough. It's 1 or 2.
Yeah, because 1 has Drekkerzog.
I maybe have. You know what? I think more of my favorite episodes are 1, so I have to say 1.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because 2 is when no one understands you, right?
No, that's the last episode of 1.
Is it?
Uh-huh.
Oh.
Yeah, that's the Tick versus Arthur's bank account. That's the last episode of season 1.
Okay.
That's episode 13.
But Alone Together is 2. Because isn't 1 Tick versus, and then 2 is just normal person titles, and then 3 goes back to Tick versus?
3 occasionally goes back to Tick
versus.
versus.
It does both.
But it does both. And what's weird about it is, and I hate how inconsistent this is, in the first season, it's the Tick versus, and every episode is that. The Tick versus Breadmaster, the Tick versus the Uncommon Cold, the Tick versus... Brainchild, et cetera, et cetera. And I was trying to think of Dinosaur Neil. And then in third season, you have just a few episodes that are Tick versus, not the Tick versus, but Tick. So it's Tick versus science, not the Tick versus science. That's irritating.
Yep.
Stop it.
At least it helps you figure out which season it's from. Remember which season it's from.
But if I'm being like really honest with myself, and I don't go, I'm overthinking this. But if I don't go by genre, then it's probably then I have to get Batman 66 in there.
Yeah.
And you'd stack it with more superhero and more sci-fi.
And its best season is season 3.
No, it's not. No, it's 1. And then like X-Files is. I kind of want to get in there.
Have you seen all of X-Files?
Yeah, but it's been forever and it never sticks with me.
Yeah.
Every time I go back to X-Files, it's like the first time.
Yeah, because I know you were watching some X-Files earlier, or like a couple months ago, and you were showing me episodes that like you were like, I don't remember this at all.
So real quick, I want to stop everything for a second. And by the way, if I had to say best season of X-Files, it's 2 or 3. It's maybe 3. So I don't want to sound conceited or entitled when I say this, because it is possible that everybody just has better things to do tonight. So I don't want to I don't want to suggest necessarily that this is because there's a problem with YouTube, but we had a really funky glitch starting the show tonight, and I think there's odd things going on YouTube's end. So it is possible that the show is not getting in people's feeds tonight because we have a lot fewer people watching right now than usual. It's really odd how small it is. And again, like, totally cool. People might just have better things to do. But we almost weren't even able to get the show started tonight. It was very strange. There was this bizarre... I meant to mention this when we started. There was this bizarre glitch where it went back to a template for an old Captain Logan show from like 80, 90 episodes ago. It was like 277 or something. And there were 2 streams at the same time. And it said I had like a double stream, and it tried to give me an option to switch to the right one, but I couldn't use it. Like, it wouldn't let me look at both of them. And so I managed to axe the other one, but it was hard to even get back to this stream. So I don't know what's going on with YouTube tonight. And anyway, Hot Soup says it showed up fine for him. So yeah, maybe nobody cares. That's also possible.
Yeah.
But usually this kind of topic, we'd have a decent number of folks watching, so I'm not sure what's going on. We will still finish our show.
Yeah.
No problem. But it is odd to see that. I'm not sure what's going on.
Yeah.
If it is true, though, that nobody cares about the show anymore, as much as I know you love doing the Captain Logan show, and I do too, we might want to start considering replacing it with something, because if it's played out, it's played out. I mean, I still love doing this and doing the news topics and sometimes the sort of GNN things.
Yeah.
But I've also done 350 something of these.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we should put out a poll or something.
That's what I'm thinking about doing.
End this show and do something.
Do something else, yeah. Because whatever it is, I mean, you and I can keep doing a show on Wednesdays.
Yeah, whatever it is.
But and again, I love the Captain Logan show. I'm totally cool continuing this thing. But there's always, lots of other things we could be doing, and I'd love to have more blank commentary stuff on the channel. And you're a fun host for that. So
yeah.
We'll see what happens. And you're older, and you can watch more stuff now.
Yeah.
So there's more things I'm perfectly willing to let you react with me about now.
Geeks Not Captain Logan. That's the name of our new show.
So I just can't even show up to my own show?
Nope.
Austin says we should do a show where we review lamps.
Yes.
Anyway, all right, let's talk about 2027, Jason.
Wow.
So we have 4 major movies coming out that year for the genre, and then 2 more that count that aren't as big, but still will probably do okay and make money. So we have, of the major ones, and we kind of mentioned them already, like I said, you've got Spider-Man, Batman, and Superman all with a movie in the same year. That's never happened before. So by all accounts, this should be the biggest year for superhero movies we've ever had as far as box office goes. It should be. Now, there's always, of course, looming questions about superhero fatigue, burnout. I'm wondering about the fatigue thing with how few people are watching the show this evening. No, I'm kidding. We've been talking a lot about how that the superhero fatigue thing is both true and not true. If we're putting out consistently decent material, and it's with characters especially that people are already really invested in, it can drive people back to the theater. We've seen this repeatedly ever since people have yelled about superhero fatigue. But Marvel has the same problems in the movies that it does in the comics right now. Nobody cares.
Yeah. And
it's hurting the overall thing, at least for public interest. Would Superman have now? Gunn and DC seem happy enough with the box office with that as far as gaining interest in the entire universe. And I don't want to rehash too much of what I've said about this already, but I do think if they start dropping budgets a bit, they'll actually make money with those movies. It does look like Superman basically broke even. There's some people that are calling it a bomb and saying it couldn't possibly have made any money at all. It's difficult to tell just how much money they spent on advertising for that, because what Gunn claims it is, a lot of people just aren't buying. Like they just don't believe that they possibly could have done the advertising with that with just $100 million. But if he's right about it, they probably basically broke even with that movie. And I don't think he's just saving face and pretending when he says we did fine, because it's about, again, gaining some consumer confidence and some interest in the whole new DCU. But my question is, if the consumer confidence was still there, the overall interest was still there for MCU, would Superman have done better? Would all ships be raised at that point? I feel Superman made $600 million, which I think is respectable, especially with where we are with superheroes right now, and with the poor performance of the DCEU overall. When you can come out of that slump and do as well as that did, I think you're on the right track. But if the MCU was in better shape and more people didn't feel burnout on these things, would it have done even better? And actually, I'm not sure, given, again, the performance of the DCEU before that. But at any rate, I feel like that's a movie that should have performed even a bit better than it did, and I called it wrong. I thought it would be bigger than it was, just because the hype seemed really real for it.
Yeah.
And so I called that one wrong. I also called Fantastic Four wrong because I didn't think it was going to have that massive drop-off second weekend. I didn't think it could beat Superman, and I didn't think it would be gigantic, but I thought it would do better than it did. Or at the very least, I thought it would be a stable box office regardless of whatever the first weekend was. But at any rate, I'm rehashing a little bit. So you've got Beyond the Spider-Verse. I'm going to do these in order. So Beyond the Spider-Verse comes out in June. We're talking 2027. So that'll be June 25th. And then the Superman sequel, which was just announced last week, and we talked about this, is now called Man of Tomorrow, and that is July 9th. And then the Batman 2 is October 1st. And then Secret Wars is December 17th. So you're getting kind of like we did with Infinity War and Endgame. Am I remembering this right? Didn't they have a whole year in between them?
Yes.
So we're doing the same thing here, except now we're doing it with Christmases. We're doing it with December.
Didn't they have like a year and a half?
No.
Was Infinity War 2017 or 2018?
No, Infinity War was 18.
Okay.
I think.
I think I was remembering it wrong.
But what I'm saying is, didn't they both come out in the same time of year? Weren't those both summer movies?
I think so, yeah.
And then these will be December movies. So anyway, tell me in the comments if I'm misremembering this. I'm not going to look it up right now. But a couple of interesting things to note about this. You were getting, if the dates stay the same, Man of Tomorrow a couple of months before the Batman 2. Which means not only do we have to wait 5 years for the Batman 2, we had to wait 5 years between the release of these two movies, but we're getting the sequel to a movie that will have only come out 2 years before it, made by the same studio, before we get the Batman Part 2.
Oh, man.
And I think that's hilarious. So that's a little bit unfortunate, and some of it, certainly couldn't have been helped because of apparently Reeves' personal issues that have made it difficult for him to get that script written. But it looks like it's actually getting some traction, and it's actually going to get going. Now, this is assuming that none of these dates change. Is it possible that something gets pushed back or something moves and these things won't all come out the same year at this point? I mean, with 2 years down the road, it's possible something moves. I kind of hope it doesn't, because if all of this is good, it'll be such a boon for the genre. This could be, and I know I've said this about other years before, but this could be the biggest superhero year. If everything's great, it could be the biggest superhero year we've ever had, and I don't know that it will be. But I always think of 2014 as one of the big killer major years for superhero movies, and
2014
gave
besides
you Guardians,
Spider-Man 2.
What? Yeah, and I know that was awful, but we had and there have always been, so far anyway, bad superhero movies on the best years, because we always go to 2008, but 2008 had Hancock. There were some not great superhero movies that year too. Now, as far as major movies go, I mean, major big two things. 2008 was a great year, and that's the year that we usually measure everything by, especially in just transitioning us into an era where people take these things more seriously. And so I'm always looking for the potential for that 2008 again, where it either wakes people up and makes them care more again than they have in a while, or does something brand new that catapults us in a new exciting direction. And it looks like 2027 could absolutely be that year. But yeah, 14 gave us Guardians, it gave us Winter Soldier. It gave us Days of Future Past, and so that's another one of those banner years.
I don't know why the first things I thought of were Amazing Spider-Man 2 and Thor: The Dark World, but
well, I mean, those were there too, and they were pretty. Was 14 Thor: The Dark World?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Are you sure about that? Because the first Thor is what?
11.
11?
Mm-hmm. Might have been.
It took 3 years for that to come out. Yeah, I didn't remember that. I don't think you're right about that.
It is 2013.
13, there you go.
But November 2013, so.
Oh, that's why you thought that, a little later in the year. So, anyway, so like I said, you got Me Tomorrow and the Batman 2, so the Batman Part 2. So, your two most popular characters, huge, heavy-hitting things, and the only things probably that DC Studios is putting out that year. And then the only thing we know right now from MCU is Secret Wars, which is December 17. And there's no telling right now what the interest will be in that because you have to have Doomsday first.
Yeah.
And so if Doomsday crashes and burns, you can't see Secret Wars turning it around. Secret Wars will just be the, like, limping, zombified corpse of the MCU that's falling into a grave that will then be resurrected as a soft reboot into the new MCU with X-Men. Mm-hmm. So hopefully that looks less like a corpse and more like Phoenix or something.
Yeah.
Not the Phoenix, but a Phoenix.
Yeah. It'll do just as well as Dark Phoenix.
Yay! So it's impossible to really speculate right now about the performance of that.
So, the one thing I'll say as far as, like, placing my bets is Secret Wars gets pushed back.
You think?
Yeah.
Well, you're not... That's not a crazy thing to say if Doomsday doesn't perform the way they want it to.
Mm-hmm.
But they also might be worried that if they put any more distance than a year in between it, people are really not going to care. And they also might be... The only... Like I said, that's not a crazy thing to say. That's possible. But I think it's not super likely only because if that doesn't do well... Here's the other side of that argument. If Doomsday doesn't do what they want it to, or if it is critically panned, they'll be in a hurry to rush in so that they can get their reboot going.
Yeah.
They're going to want to get past it.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think it's likely that it gets canceled versus pushed back because they'll end they'll end Doomsday with such a cliffhanger that they'll be forced to resolve it.
Yes. Yeah.
Certainly. But anyway... that's the biggest wild card with this for me, because I have loved the Spider-Verse movies, and despite the fact that Beyond the Spider-Verse has been pushed back real hard, and that it's kind of crazy how many years will be in between that, and there is maybe a little bit of a question of how big that movie will be compared to the other two, just because of how long people have had to wait, and considering that is a thing that appeals as much or more to children that have gained some years since then. I don't think that it will... I don't think it will not do well, but I don't know that there will be as much of an interest as there would have been if it came out when it was supposed to. Especially given that the cliffhanger that you have with the second one feels like a... what am I trying to say? An Infinity War kind of cliffhanger, or a Matrix Reloaded kind of cliffhanger, where you're really expecting that movie within 6 months to a year.
Yeah.
And so that's a weird one to have to sit on that long. Mm-hmm. That's like a streaming cliffhanger versus a season broadcast cliffhanger, where you go, okay, I don't want to wait more than 3 months on that. And if you're making me sit around with, like, your main character was buried alive, or is maybe dead, or is in a coma, or whatever it is, and I've got to wait a year, I may not care anymore by the time I get to that year.
Right.
Well, now you're talking how many years? When did that movie came out?
3 years.
Well, when did it come out?
2024.
That wasn't last year.
No,
that's what
like
I'm saying.
April 2024 or something like that.
Huh, that wasn't last year.
Really?
When did that movie come out? No, I'm thinking it must have been 23, but I can't remember.
It was 2023.
All this runs together for me, but
I knew it was some of
I've had that
summers.
on disc for for long enough, and the twins have been watching that for long enough.
Yeah.
I know it's not last year.
No, just the fact that I
So
remember
but
going
that's the
to
point
it
I'm
in
trying to make
theaters.
is, I know I say this all the time, but kids will have gone through and graduated high school by then.
Right.
You're making us wait 4 years for essentially a kids movie. I know a lot of adults are interested in it, and I know that it elevates beyond story-wise just movies for like cartoons for kids. I get all of that. But like, you look at the box office receipts and you look at the demographics of who really goes to those, and like, yeah, there's plenty of adults that go, but that is more aimed at a kid audience than anything. And you are making the kids wait 4 years for a movie that they really expected in one. And I get why all that happened. That wasn't what was supposed to happen.
And 9 years after the first one.
Yeah.
And like,
I mean,
here's
it
the
would
thing.
have been a while.
Here's the thing. The second one did come out 5 years before the first one. The first one also didn't end on a giant cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Or at least that big of a cliffhanger. Like, I don't know.
The other thing that you have to... No, that first movie is wrapped up well enough that it didn't even have to have a sequel. And a lot of us were hoping that it wouldn't be more multiverse. Now, I ended up loving that second movie, but a lot of us were hoping that they would just spin off a Spider-Man or some Spider-Mans and do their own projects, and there were supposed to be TV shows and things that never ended up happening.
Yeah.
And then what's weird is you end up with Noir, which isn't actually a spin-off from that, but given that that character is in the first one, it feels like the only spin-off that we actually got from that. When that finally comes out, which I'm excited about. That looks super neat. But anyway, so... The other thing to keep in mind about Spider-Verse is it is cool and, I mean, interesting and true that you've got Batman, Superman, and Spider-Man. Like I said earlier, the three biggest superheroes on the planet, arguably. But you also will have just had the more... we'll see how the box office goes, but what so far has been the more popular Spider-Man franchise the year before. Because Brand New Day comes out next year.
That's so weird.
And it comes out the same month. So you will have a Spider-Man movie in July in 26 and 27.
No, 27 will be June.
Oh, it is. Okay. But real close.
Real close.
No, you're right. I was looking at those dates wrong. You're right.
So
June 25, July 24, but almost exactly a year apart.
So 2027 will be Man of Tomorrow, Batman 2, and Beyond the Spider-Verse.
Yes.
And 2026, the year before, will be Brand New Day, Supergirl, and Clayface.
Which means next year... this is fascinating, isn't it? So that means that... Yeah, I didn't even think about that. So that means that next year you have this really interesting opening volley. You've got like this appetizer for the main course. Basically. Where... Unless all the movies next year rock and the ones the year after are terrible, or some of them aren't great. Like... Is it possible that next year has better offerings than the year after? It's possible. I don't know that it's likely. I certainly expect good things from the Batman 2 and Man of Tomorrow, and Secret Wars is a giant crapshoot, but Beyond the Spider-Verse, I'm expecting to be at least decent, because I loved the first two. Yeah. Next year you got Supergirl, which is... maybe a little bit of a wild card.
Yeah, I would say so. Same with Clayface.
But I love the material that it's based on. And then Clayface is a really cool idea.
Yeah.
Made by a director people like.
But it has to be executed well. That's one that really has to be.
No, of course, and that puts us... Now, I'm expecting this to be better than what I'm about to mention, certainly, but that puts us in a little bit of a New Mutants sort of place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
And then Brand New Day, which hilariously still to me feels more like, and not everybody, most people won't have this, but to me almost feels like the appetizer before the Spider-Man movie I'm more interested in, because I don't trust it.
Okay, Brand New Day feels like an appetizer for Doomsday.
Yeah.
Just because it's like, oh, you get like a few cameos, and now... Doomsday, you're gonna have like
that's true.
Lots of cameos.
I haven't even been thinking about Brand New Day as a cameo parade movie because it's not doing the characters from other movie franchises that are not in the same universe. Right. But it is gonna have a weirdly large cast,
Yeah.
and that's part of why I'm not as excited about it as I want to be.
Yeah.
There are neat things that we can take from. We talked about this before, from the set photo leaks and stuff.
Yes.
But I'm not trusting the Punisher thing.
Mm-hmm.
We don't even know who the main villain is right now. Like we know Scorpion's supposed to be in it, but I doubt if that's the big bad.
Yeah.
And there seems to be potentially some connection to Venom, but I don't know what that's going to be. And we talked about this, but I still think that could be a kind of a putting a pin in that so we can do something with the symbiote when we get to Secret Wars.
Yeah.
Just so that we can do the symbiote Secret Wars thing, because that's comics.
Yeah. Because we're also doing Hulk.
Oh yeah,
Also,
I forgot about that.
I guess doing Yelena.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, I don't want to be a giant hypocrite with this, because I really liked Superman, and one of my worries about that movie, and I get that some people feel this way about it having seen it, one of my worries about Superman was too much of an ensemble. Superman's supposed to be the main character, he's going to get too buried. And I didn't feel too much like that. I did still feel like Gunn used the supporting cast as a little bit of a crutch so that he could still do his kind of ensemble thing that he always likes to do, but I felt like Superman got a real story in that and a real arc, and it's really about him. With Brand New Day, I need Spider-Man to get back to brass tacks. I need that not to be about all these other characters. Yeah. And that really lends credence, I know we're all over the place, that really leads credence to that rumor that I've heard, or speculation that I've heard for a long time, that Sony has some really weird mandates in their contract with MCU of like stupid things that they must have in every movie, like Peter being mentored by some MCU character. And it feels like we're kind of carrying that whole thing on. I don't know that anybody's a mentor in this, unless it's Punisher, which is hilarious. If that's what that ends up being.
Yeah, I wonder if Brand New Day, like, they were looking at Superman. I mean, obviously, you know, they started that, you know, right after Superman, but I don't know. That was a thought I had. It was like, oh man,
maybe,
Superman has a...
Maybe, but it's so consistent with what they did last time.
Right.
If you think about it.
Right, yeah.
Where it's like, we've got to have all these other superheroes. It's almost like they don't think the most popular Marvel character can sustain his own movie. It's so strange. Like, I was always an apologist for it in Homecoming because I liked Tony Stark's role, like almost Uncle Ben-esque role in that, and I liked the way that movie mirrors the structure and the story of the first Iron Man movie.
Yeah.
It felt multi-generational in that way, and I really loved that, but I was ready to get past it.
Yeah.
And by the time you get to No Way Home, I'm not just over it, it's not even making a lot of sense at that point. But anyway, I wanted to mention, of course, the ridiculous box office of No Way Home, and there's no chance that Brand New Day gets close to that, but I do think it will perform because it's Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And because even though some folks have turned on the last one and it's not as well regarded, I don't think, overall, as it was when it came out, and that was such a novelty event that, like, you go see it and then you go, okay, I don't get this is super rewatchable. It kind of, you know, you always complain about the feeling of you're supposed to applaud when characters come on the screen. Like it feels more like characters coming out on the stage to take a bow, and then you go, well, that's not a real rewatchable thing. And I don't want to just, you know, sit at home watching Disney Plus seeing a curtain call over and over again.
Yeah.
And so there's the question of how much that's going to hurt this movie, or if it's going to help it just because that movie did so well. And also, that's one of the only characters left from MCU that people would still be interested to go to the theater to see. That they haven't arguably damaged too much, at least in people wanting to see it. Now, they've damaged it for me because I hated the ending of that last movie, and I don't like the status quo that they're at.
Yeah.
And I don't like that it's got to be littered with all these other MCU characters. Because I just wanted to be. I wanted to get as far away from MCU as possible.
Maybe that's them trying to get people who are there for Spider-Man into more MCU stuff.
To care about their next one.
Yeah.
And that's a mistake.
It is. Yeah.
Because then you're going, oh great, we're just seeing an advertisement for this other movie that they've sunk so much money into. They need it to make like $1.5 billion to even make money. That might be exaggerating, but it's hard to say because of how much they're paying Downey and the sheer number of actors that they have to pay. And we know that the money they're sinking into that is into the stratosphere, and they're putting all their eggs in that basket.
Yeah.
And then Secret Wars has really got to perform for the same reason.
I think everybody's got to go see Doomsday 3 times just so that they don't feel bad for Marvel, because like
I don't think people are gonna care if they feel bad for Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering if we'll look back at this. There's a lot of what ifs here. This being Marvel, there's a lot of maybes here, but I'm wondering if Doomsday turns out to not be great. If we look back on this, Jason, especially after Secret Wars comes out, and go, yeah, they should have just left it at one big finale movie. If they had to sink that much money into it, just do the one big last hurrah. Maybe it doesn't even matter how much sense it makes, or if it's telling much of a story, or if any of those characters even get anything to do. It's just 3.5 hours of again, kind of curtain call. Just you get to see all these characters again. You get to see a bunch of characters from old universes that are done now. We're kind of passing the baton to the new generation, and we're going to X-Men now, and we're going to start the whole kit and caboodle over, and we're recasting Iron Man, and we're recasting Captain America. With a whole year in between, if nobody cares about Doomsday, they could be stabbing themselves in the foot more by making you continue into Secret Wars with that nonsense if it's nonsense.
Why are we in a universe where Marvel is gonna pay like millions of more dollars on this movie just so that RDJ can be Doctor Doom? Like,
no, I know.
What is that choice?
To this day, I can't get my mind around it.
I don't know what.
So there is also supposed to be, and I don't know if this is still gonna stand, but there was supposed to be some other Marvel project in 2027. There was a gap. There was a placeholder date for a question mark movie in July.
Okay.
And I don't think at this point they've got the time, or they will try to rush some movie into production.
Yeah.
They could surprise me. Anything's possible. It could be that they're working on something and they just haven't announced it yet. But I really think that they're putting so much of their eggs again in the Doomsday Secret Wars basket that's kind of all we'll get. And Spider-Man counts as an MCU thing, but those are always more Sony projects. So it makes sense that that's the exception to this, and like you said, that they'll kind of use that to gain interest in the big event movie. But if that were to happen, two things. I think it's hilarious that the space they left is in July, because if they hung on to that, it means they would go up against Superman again.
Mm-hmm.
And FF got trounced by it.
Yeah. If they do...
That won't happen.
If they do FF2...
And put it up against Superman again.
Yeah.
That means they're trolling, and they are trying to die.
They're totally trolling. Yep.
That would be hilarious.
Yep.
If they were to force another movie into that slot, what could it be? Fantastic Four 2, even though that first movie didn't do great money, I mean, they've been talking about it like they still want to do more with that, and they've made the Fantastic Four. They're kind of they're kind of stuck in a boat with this. They've really made their bed with Fantastic Four because they made Doomsday their replacement for Kang, and Doomsday is the big bad, and they're paying Robert Downey Jr. ridiculous amounts of money to play him. So they're married to Fantastic Four now, even though that movie didn't perform the way it needed to. And so, if we knew for sure they were doing a secret movie for that slot, I wouldn't be that surprised to find out it was Fantastic Four 2. If they just went, you know what, screw it, we're still gonna try this, and we're just going to hope that it drums up support for the big event movie. But I don't think that they're going to do that. But it would be so funny if they did. Mm-hmm. And it went up against Superman again. But that would be the obvious thing to do, just to build up that world more and maybe give us more information about Doom before they get into Doomsday. Because I do think it's really weird to... I get that he's sort of in an after credits. Like, you just get a glimpse of them. We don't need to talk about that. That's kind of nothing. I do think it's really funny that they're properly going to apparently introduce Doctor Doom in the big event movie with Doctor. It seems like a really weird thing that like it's the antithesis, and we all know why this happened. Like, this was not their plan, but it's the antithesis to what they did with Thanos, where it's like, now we're gonna have this huge double set of event movies to finish up the multiverse saga, to introduce a character that has had literally nothing to do with any of this all the way through.
Yeah.
Because it was supposed to be Kang.
Yep.
And he sort of did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they still didn't build that real well, but more of the problem was just nobody cared.
Yeah.
But anyway, so the only other things I could see are Doctor Strange 3. Because that was a big multiverse movie. And they, like, people didn't like that movie, but I think there's still enough, like, goodwill with Cumberbatch and interest in Doctor Strange that I could see them doing that. The obvious one it should be is Blade, but that, because it's been 6 years since that was announced, but that movie doesn't look like it will ever happen.
Oh, man.
You know what would be really funny? If Blade was the first movie of the soft reboot. If we did it even before X-Men. That would be so funny.
That would be so funny.
If we introduced the new universe with Blade. That would crack me the heck up. How much time do we have before break? About 10 minutes. What are people saying in the comments?
We got a couple questions.
Well, let's answer them, shall we?
This is from Goofster123. Should...
Real quick, Austin says, I don't think there's any chance it's FF2. I don't know that there's any chance it's anything.
Yeah. Goofster123.
Yeah.
Should Gunn and Co. have Batman and or Bruce Wayne cameo in any of the upcoming projects, or wait until Brave and the Bold? Clayface could have him cameo briefly, for instance.
Is that a super chat?
Nope.
Okay. I think with especially the sheer amount of references to lore and characters and stuff that we're getting from the set of Clayface. I mean, it's all I've been seeing. There's a have you seen this stuff?
Yes.
There's a sign for Flying Graysons. There's a bunch of just signage and iconography about everything Gotham.
Yeah.
If they're laying it on a little thick, honestly. There's a map of the city. Like there's all this stuff. I think it would be kind of weird if Clayface had no appearance for Batman. I also think that it's likely, if we do see Batman in that movie, that he is in silhouette and he's in the background and in the shadows and doesn't even necessarily have to be cast.
Mm-hmm.
But I think you will see some iteration of Batman in that. But my prediction is, if you get a Batman in that movie, it's not going to inform us very much about what Batman in that world is like.
Yeah.
And I think that might be calculated, if I'm right about it, so that they still can wait it out a little bit before they decide for sure if Pattinson Batman is in that universe.
Mm-hmm.
And we can argue about whether or not we want to see that happen. But
I've already said all my stuff on that.
Yeah, forgetting your interest in it, what we're talking about is just the likelihood of it happening. And like we've said before, Gunn has been, and Reeves have been so coy lately about this that it feels like it could go either way.
Yeah, I have no idea. Like, I was gonna say, oh yeah, no, they're not gonna do that. But actually, like, I don't know.
I'm also seeing stupid articles that are like, Robin confirmed because of Flying Graysons, and I'm like, well, no, that if anything, that tells you there might not even be a Robin yet, but we don't know if that sign is like old and just was never taken down, or if it's a current sign. Like, I don't know any of this yet. But the idea that confirms for sure that Pattinson Batman is not in this universe because there are pre-existing Robins is ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Austin, the Clayface set dressings we've seen are references to Penguin, Joker, Black Canary, Zatanna, Dick Grayson, and possibly more that I'm not remembering. Yeah, very much a lived in Gotham. But just because it's a lived in Gotham doesn't necessarily mean that it's not Pattinson's Gotham. Like, none of that stuff really contradicts the early days of Batman that we're in with that, I don't think. Because, like, well, we know there's a Joker locked up.
Right.
You know? Like,
I want to know what the Penguin reference is.
yeah, I didn't know there was a Penguin reference.
Yeah.
And again, don't get me wrong, I think this could just as easily go the other way.
Mm-hmm.
And I can sort of see both sides of it. I've said before, I think it would be really interesting to see the contrast of those worlds. But I personally would much, much rather have a Batman that's been around long enough to have a whole Bat family so that we can explore that stuff, because that's a lot of the stuff I like in Batman. Mm-hmm. And stuff that we've never done in movies.
Yeah.
So, like, I want to get a move on in that. And I also have always said you can have two live action Batman franchises happening at once. And I also like the idea of a more serious and a less serious, relatively serious take on the character at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think that's... So, there is a poster that is about Penguin, but it's not necessarily... There's no way that has anything to do with DCU Penguin. Because he's not as much of a show Penguin, you know what I mean?
Well, you mean the Batman Penguin.
Yeah, the Batman.
Don't get us confused, because
I meant
that would be DCU Penguin if there's a different Penguin.
I meant the Batman
Yeah.
Penguin. Yeah.
Okay. Austin, I don't think that really impacts whether it's a merger or not. Yeah, I don't either. I think it could go either way. Let's see what else folks are saying, Jason.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for the super chats. Let's make sure and hit those.
Yeah, I'm gonna read these super chats, just because some of them haven't something.
If they're related to this, let's go ahead and knock them out.
Yeah. Okay, I'll start with this one. $5 from Joel Davis. For box office, we should always keep in mind a lot of outside economic factors that could affect it, be it recession or just economic collapse.
Well, there's that too. Yeah, that's true. Just people and we don't talk enough about that. People being choosy about where they're spending their entertainment dollars, and how everything has gone up,
Yes,
and people sitting around trying to decide if they're gonna, bother with the new Nintendo console. We'll talk about that later. And comics are $5 now, and just more. Just everything's gotten, and they're constantly upping your subscription prices for every subscription that you're buying.
Yeah.
And so people are going to be choosier, and you could say, if you get the advertising in front of us, if you're going to go to the theater, the movie last year you were more likely to see than anything was Superman. If you like superheroes at all. Mm-hmm. But you don't want to discount the people that would choose to just not go to the theater to see anything. And you also have to keep in mind that, I think we emphasize the importance of box office for the interest in a movie now. Now, how it actually makes money is a whole separate animal, because more than ever, maybe, or more than in a long time anyway, movies really need to recoup their costs at the box office, because streaming is not a real profitable model. So like how many people are subscribing to Max just to watch Superman?
Yeah.
And then jump off of it. I mean, I'm sure there's some, but that's not going to be a significant amount of money in the way that VHS and DVD and Blu-ray was before streaming was the model.
Yeah.
So yes, he's right. You do have to keep all that in mind, and the fact that, and I wonder sometimes why this hasn't changed yet. The fact that we just immediately almost get access to these things on streaming, whether they go right to a streaming service or we have to actually pay to buy or rent them after they're in the box office, is part of the reason that a lot of people just don't even bother to go to the theater anymore.
Yeah.
And also there's the fact that our TVs have gotten larger, the technology is better, you can the picture is better than it's ever been. Surround sound systems are better and more affordable than they've ever been. Like there's a lot less incentive to go to a theater, but especially if Superman drops this month, it's out of the theater next month or the month after, and then not very many weeks later, it's already on video. A lot of people just wait, and they don't wait very long.
Yeah.
Okay, what else are you seeing?
Tom Atkins says Matt Reeves called the Batman 2 Elseworlds on a podcast today.
Oh, today? Did he really? Well, that would change everything. That tells you all you need to know.
That was not a super chat, but
oh, that's okay. I gonged it for importance.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, if that's the case, then we don't even have to have this debate anymore.
Mm-hmm.
If Reeves is using the word Elseworlds, I mean, obviously he knows what that means, and he wouldn't say that lightly. That means it's a totally other universe. And he wouldn't say that, of course, without the go-ahead from Gunn, where they've decided for sure that it's not going to be in the same universe now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, apparently that actually did happen.
Like, as interesting as that might have been, that's good news to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was open to it, but I would much rather it go the other way.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if that's true, we don't talk about that anymore. I'll go listen to that podcast. Go ahead, Jason. Thanks for that information.
$5 from Joel Davis. We're getting into just kind of normal questions now, so we don't really have anything else.
Well, in that case, let's go to break.
All right.
Because, and sorry, Joel Davis, we will get to your super chat when we come back. But if that's all the super chats for this subject, we're right at the hour. Mm-hmm. So we might as well go ahead and go to break, and we'll come back to your segment. And if people want to talk more about this in the second half, we absolutely can. Do you see any other comments just real fast outside of super chats that are about this that should be addressed, Jason? Hayden Spring, I'm a massive Spider-Man fan. I'm considering not seeing that on principle just because Hulk is in it. Yeah, and I don't know how much that's going to affect box office. The thing is, I don't know that those other characters showing up is going to help the box office.
No, but I don't think that's the point. Because like I said, I think it's because just Spider-Man as a name gets more.
Well, that's my point, is that I see where Hayden's coming from and why he would say that, but I feel like he'll be in the minority. I feel like your regular movie-going audience, even if they're rolling their eyes at there being all these other superheroes in it, will still go.
Yeah.
Like you said. Let's go ahead and go to break. We'll be back in about 4 minutes, and we'll do our second half with lots of fun segments and hopefully lots of Q&A and discussion about whatever you guys want to talk about. We'll see you in just a little bit. Thank you guys for hanging out, and we hope you'll come back and join us in just a few minutes. All right, everybody, it's time for the second half of tonight's The Captain Logan Show. Thanks once again for joining us. We're about to do some Q&A here in a few minutes, but first, Jason is going to have a segment for us. He's going to do a review here in just a minute. But before that, I wanted to mention some things going on the channel over the next couple of weeks. So do a little bit of house cleaning stuff. Tomorrow night we've got the request. Austin and I are, and I haven't listened to this yet, but Austin and I are supposed to review the first episode of the Batman audio drama that I think is on Max. So I guess I'm going to have to subscribe to Max again for a month. I haven't even had that in a while.
To listen to an audio drama?
To listen to an audio drama. Isn't that strange? Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
I didn't even hear about that.
Yeah, there is. And then Friday night, we're going to be reviewing and watching the Watchmen movie, and we have decided to commit to the ultimate cut. So we will be doing all 4 hours of it, including Black Freighter, which I'm not excited about having to talk through, but we decided that was probably the best thing for everybody, because that's easily streamable now if you have Max. And for some reason they left that in the theatrical cut, but they took the director's cut down.
What?
But I mean, we're gonna have a lot to talk about, so it'll be nice to have those 4 hours. And I want to listen to, if I can find the time to do it, Snyder's commentary again on the ultimate cut. So it'll be good to watch the same cut, I guess. So anyway, we're doing that Friday night. I'm gonna try to. I would like to start at 9 as opposed to 10 because that movie is so long, but we'll let you know for sure, just depending on how Austin and I are doing in getting prepped for it, because that's a lot of hours to watch. And then next week, Austin and I are going to do an updated, finally, we've talked about this forever, and I haven't started on mine yet, but we're going to do an updated MCU movie ranking. We're not going to be doing shows, just films. And we're going to do that Friday night in lieu of the Superhero Rewind commentary project. We'll take a week off from that. I'm going to have a writers meeting that night, and then after that we'll knock that out. And then we'll be gearing up for the 50 worst superhero movies of all time list, which we've been talking about doing for a long time, and just with the Superhero Rewind movie and stuff, we haven't had time for it. So we're finally going to get to that, but we got to get the MCU ranking knocked out first. So a lot of fun stuff coming your way soon on the channel, and I just wanted to mention all of that for you. And, Goofster says it's free on Spotify, so I'll just listen to it there. That's exciting.
So, is the Superhero Rewind movie going to be on the top 50
on Spotify?
Worst?
It would be weird to put that on Spotify.
Is it going to be on the top 50 worst superhero movies?
You know what? Even I'm not that self-deprecating. So no, probably not.
It will be on Austin's.
That would be in. Not if he wants to keep doing the commentaries with me. It'll be great. He'll have been on the first 50 of those, and then he gets axed right after that. Yeah. Jason.
Yes.
What are you going to regale us with today?
So I just watched a little show you might have heard of. It's called Fallout. And the second season's coming out in December, I believe. And I hadn't seen the first season, so I watched it. And I wanted to give my thoughts on it. Because, it's been out for about a year now, but I wanted to give, my particular thoughts on it.
Jason's a Fallout fan?
Yeah. I've played quite a bit of 4, and I started New Vegas. I didn't get very far, but...
But you're a big fan of that world and mythology.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. There's something about that kind of, I love that kind of like 50s. What is that called? Retrofuturism.
Retrofuturism. That's what it is.
Retrofuturism. That's some of my favorite sci-fi stuff, and Fallout is one of like the best examples of that at this point. And so I have a list of my best things and my worst things. So I'm gonna start with just going off of 50s retrofuturism. This show looks amazing.
Yeah. And I haven't watched a frame of it.
Yeah.
The reason it took Jason this long, by the way, to finally watch through this show is I think you saw the pilot.
I did, yeah.
And then you weren't sure if I would let you watch the rest of it because it was just because it's pretty adult and it's pretty violent. And I had promised you that I would take a look at it and screen it, and then I didn't get around to that. That's on me. I kept forgetting about it. And you've seen some other things since then, and you're 15 and you're going on 16, and I was like, yeah, I'll let you watch it. That's fine. He went through Penguin. It can't be any rougher than that. So, uh-oh.
I don't know. I can't
Sound off in the comments if you think I shouldn't have let my 15-year-old watch Fallout without screening it.
Sound off in the comments if you think it's worse than Penguin. That's all I'm saying.
Not worse in quality, worse in adult subject matter.
Yeah.
How rough it is visually. Yeah. Tell me if I'm a bad father for letting Jason watch Fallout without screening it.
So
you can call me that. I can take it. I can take it.
There will be like very minor spoilers in this review. That's like all my reviews.
Before you, and I won't interrupt you again, but I want to ask you this.
Yes.
Should I watch it?
I'm gonna get into that.
Okay, go ahead.
If you don't know the basic, this is based on a video game series where like I said, retrofuturism world. It's a post-apocalyptic, post-nuclear apocalyptic world, where there's a bunch of like ghouls and lots of radiation everywhere, and the big like center of, or a big part of the world is before the apocalypse there was this company that made these vaults that people lived in underground, but they ended up just being like social experiments instead of like actually being safe, and so there was some
the
crazy...
logo with the kid with the smile with the thumbs up? Okay.
Yeah. And that's a character. I'm not even kidding.
In the show?
Yeah, he's a main character. Or like that guy is in the show. He's based on an actor, like a Hollywood actor who did commercials for that company.
Interesting.
And came up with the thumbs up, and then he becomes just the most scary. He becomes the scariest character in the show. He's awesome. This show follows three main characters who are all after the same thing. I don't know. I don't think I can say what that thing is, but
there's a MacGuffin you can't spoil?
There is a MacGuffin, yeah. I might say it, just because it's I feel like it might get you to watch it.
Okay.
But I'm not sure.
Oh, okay. Gooster says Fallout is Saturday morning cartoon compared to Penguin.
Yeah. It's funny how much that is true, but like at the same time.
Does anybody seal their siblings in a sewer underground and let them drown to death?
No.
Does that happen?
There's also not that many kids in the show. So.
Okay. So I mean, there's not enough kids to drown in the first place.
Right. So basically, there's this squire guy of the Brotherhood of Steel, and then there's this girl who has been not trapped. She's lived in a vault all her life, and she has to, go out into the real world to find her dad who got, taken away or whatever. That's her whole thing, and she's like the main character. And then there's the ghoul who is he's referred to as the ghoul, and he's the Hollywood actor that we flash back to a lot as like kind of the B story. So basically, not only does the show like the CGI is pretty spot on for like a show like this. The little de-aging that they do isn't actually that bad. Like de-aging is always bad, but it's like maybe the best that I've seen.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah. All of the like, there's a
It
guy.
looks better than Luke Skywalker at the end
Yeah.
of the second season of Mandalorian.
Yeah. Yes, it does.
Oh, you know what? I've been wanting. I don't know when I'm going to find time. I'm wanting to finally start watching Andor.
Okay.
I'm actually like really finally interested in doing that because I've heard so many good things. The second season is done, and I think, and I don't know. I need to finally do it. I'm kind of getting in the mood to do that finally.
Yeah.
Sorry. Go ahead.
But yeah, not only is like there's like a guy with one eye and he looks amazing, and like the ghoul, like that is mostly prosthetics and makeup, but there is a lot of CGI with it. But also the sets all look beautiful, and like there are so many sets, and I don't know, like they built all of that and it's great. But anyway, also the cast is incredible. Especially Ella Purnell is amazing. I'm gonna segue into the ending of the first season is also good. I needed to think about it because I wasn't sure, but yeah, it's really good. There's a scene in the last episode where like the main character's performance, it actually like made me feel like, oh man, what is this character even gonna do? Like, because she's like really sad now, and she does a really good job portraying that. And I think overall the show, and this is kind of a thing with the games too, it does a really good job at portraying characters that live in a post-apocalyptic world. Like, the actors are all play their characters like no one trusts each other, everyone's super awkward with each other, and like you know, what's good is it's not a huge cast, and so once they become more, you know, friendly with each other, the acting gets better.
I feel like that's what life is like before the apocalypse, though.
Yeah.
That's just the world with social media.
When you first watch the show, you actually think they're horrible actors, but that's just because they're playing their characters a specific way. Yeah, I think it works. And then the last thing for my best things is the Fallout soundtrack fits a TV show really well. Just like all of the 50s stuff.
And they went with all that old jazz.
Yes,
that's cool.
And they
Jason's a big fan of that stuff. Plays it all the time.
Most of the big songs.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
How much of your interest in the music from those games has to do with why you're currently taking a jazz course?
I don't know. Definitely was one of the.
Was that a catalyst for you?
That was one of the big things that got me into jazz in the first place. So
okay.
I guess so.
Yeah.
I guess, okay, so worst things, I only have a few things here, but I think yeah, I have 3 things. I'm not sure if a non-Fallout
Sorry, I was curious about how many notes you took.
Yeah.
I'm snooping.
Actually, no.
You took
8.
You took 7.
I took 8
exactly notes. 7 notes.
No, 8 notes.
Go ahead, good.
I can't count. I'm not sure if a non-Fallout fan would appreciate it.
Oh.
Just because of that thing with, like, these actors, like, they feel like they're bad actors, but they're really not. And they're, like, playing the characters weird because we're in the post-apocalypse. And it's weirdly, like, like what's it? Like that one guy was saying, it's kind of Saturday morning cartoon.
So you don't feel like it does a good job of making that idea clear without the games? Like
no, it's not even
why
that.
you watch it like that?
I don't know.
I mean why you'd make it like that?
It's not even that. I feel like the games just have such a certain feel to it that you get more used to it with the games than you would if you're doing the TV show for the first time.
Do you mean just because you're not living in it as long, or
yeah?
Like do you think the show is doing a good enough job of establishing its tone properly? Like, because I feel like you should be able to do that in either medium.
Right. I think it is easier with the games, just because, yeah, it is a bigger, you know, there's more.
Hi, John.
But
John's in the chat.
oh boy,
We get excited when John's here.
yeah. I don't know. I don't really know what. But I don't know if there are reveals and things that would be also that would be like, oh man, and then if you're watching it with a person that's not a fan, they'd be like, what?
Yeah, sure.
And then another worst thing. So Ben from Lost is in this, and he's great.
But he's so typecast.
I wish he got more to do.
Okay.
I really want to. Okay. It's like. So, the problem is, he becomes, well, he basically becomes like the plot device for the entire show.
Oh.
But he doesn't. His head does.
What? Okay.
Yeah.
I'll have to watch it.
So
is he a robot guy?
No.
Oh.
No.
I thought it was like Dooms Vincent, our movie or something.
No. He dies.
Interesting.
They have to they're all searching for his head.
Okay. So you wish she got more to do before that happens?
I wish she got more to do before that happens. And yeah, it looks really good. You have Ben from Lost's head, but and then the last thing.
No, I like Emerson a lot, and he's maybe my favorite Brainiac now.
Yeah, and then that's my Adventures with Superman.
Yes, he's really scary. It's great.
And then there's an arc toward the end with a vault that they get stuck in for a while, where it basically turns out to be a cult. I don't like that stuff just because I feel like we didn't really get anything out of that.
Okay.
Story-wise, I don't know why they were. I don't know. They didn't achieve anything by being in there. They were just in there
wasting time.
Yeah. But yeah, I just watched it, but now I'm excited for season 2. So yeah, so I liked it overall.
It's cool. I might try it out, but I might try to make myself actually play one of those games longer.
Yeah. Yeah, and then violence-wise, I didn't think it was that bad. Obviously, I have problems with needles and stuff, but everything has needles.
Put that in the box. Everything has needles.
Everything
Jason 2025.
Yeah. But it's very much I think, yeah, we kind of hit it on the spot. It's if Saturday morning cartoons had that much violence, and
sure.
I really like how they how the action scenes are directed. They look great, and there's so much just random things that nothing else. It's finishers in Mortal Kombat. Nothing else would go to that level, but this does it. So yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm intrigued.
Nothing else would think of those weird random action scenes. I don't know.
Well, thanks for reviewing that, Jason.
Yeah.
I'm glad you finally got to watch it.
Mm-hmm.
So, let's go on now for our Q&A segment, and you guys, as it says on the screen, ask me anything. We have at least a couple super chats from earlier, and once again, if you just came in, you can leave a super chat in any dollar amount, and that will guarantee that we'll answer whatever you want us to talk about within reason, but if not, leave a regular question and tag Jason. We've got a good 40 minutes or so, 35, 40 minutes before we'll go to our... maybe half an hour, depending on how many questions we have, Jason. Just because we've got a little bit of discussion to do at the end of the show as well. So go ahead and throw something at me, Jason.
All right. This is a $5 super chat from Joel Davis. What movie is better, Iron Man 1 or Superman 2025? Also, which one started its cinematic universe better? Second part could be subjective. Okay, I feel like both of these...
It's all subjective. What is better? But the second part is subjective. No, thanks for the super chat. Thanks for the question. That's great. Those are interesting things to compare, but I feel like it will be an easier exercise, obviously, when we have more movies under our belt with DCU. I mean, you have 15, 16 years of DCU material now. Geekvolution and the MCU are almost the same age, so 15, 16 years, and then we just got our first movie for the DCU, and nothing else after it yet. Yeah. So just comparing, like, apples to apples, just comparing the movies as movies best you possibly can, that'd be a toss-up for me.
Iron Man's better.
Iron Man with Superman. You think so?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, okay, Superman's a better superhero movie.
But Iron Man's maybe just a better movie.
Yeah.
I will say I had my feelings about it sussed out real easily with Iron Man more than I did Superman. I needed a couple of viewings with Superman. Superman was kind of sensory overload for me first time out. Mm-hmm. There's just so much going on.
Yeah, I never really asked what were your like first impressions of Iron Man when it first came out. Like,
same as pretty much everybody else. Like, it was just surprising how much to an honest to God good story that was telling, and Robert Downey Jr. of course charmed everybody. Mm-hmm. And my big takeaway was, I don't care about Iron Man, but I like this guy. Mm-hmm. So that was my whole thing, is I didn't care about an Iron Man movie.
Yeah.
And so I didn't get excited or worked up about any of the, technology and all of that. Mm-hmm. But the movie made me care about that.
Yeah.
And so that was exciting. And I also had the same thing everybody did with the third act, where it didn't feel like a formulaic superhero movie until you get to the third act and he's got his big showdown with Ironmonger and he's all, "You've upgraded your armor," and I'm like, I'm in a video game now. What is happening? So yes. That was also part of the charm of it for me. I will say that.
With a box of scraps.
But I think the message of Superman resonated with me more. And the idea that Superman's level of altruism is counterculture now hit me in a real deep kind of place, and I felt was a necessary thing to say right now.
Does Iron Man have a message?
And so I really appreciated that. Narcissism bad.
Yeah.
You use your resources for good, not to give the government the means to take over other countries, I guess. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Everybody's got a heart, you just gotta find it. Mm-hmm. Sure.
Yeah.
Also, Iron Man compared to the new Superman movie is, it's of a different time, obviously, and it feels a little quaint by comparison. Like, one of these is a simpler story, is arguably a bit more of a character piece, and certainly more of a singular character piece, which is what I like about Iron Man. And it's a by comparison, quieter movie, which is funny to say, because I'm sure there were older folks that would have seen Iron Man in 2008 and go, "God, this movie's so loud." Compared to Superman, that is a very quiet movie. Mm-hmm. But I probably am also more interested in the supporting cast with Superman than I am with Iron Man. So I don't know, like,
yeah.
I think I'm going to use his verbiage, subjective or his wording, subjective and objective. To be as objective as I can be about it, I think Iron Man might be the better story. And I would say better script if I knew, if I didn't know that a lot of it was improvised. Mm-hmm. But I think Superman has more emotional resonance for me, mm-hmm. and has more stuff that I just personally relate to and latch on to. Yeah. Austin, Iron Man is the correct way to start an MCU, and Superman is the correct way to start the DCU. Yeah, I think I agree with that. Although, as far as, let me do the second part of that real quick. I forgot there was the second part of the question.
Yeah.
Not having any more of it yet.
That's the subjective part.
I think this new DC universe has a bit of a better sense of maybe what it wants to be overall, and this was good and smart with Iron Man, but the larger shared universe idea was almost an afterthought with that, where they're like, we hope we get to make more, and if so, we'll do these other characters that we have the rights to. And so we set that up in the after credit scene, but it may or may not happen. part of the reason Superman exists is to get our foot in the door for this larger universe, and so it's spending a lot of effort world building and growing that out and trying to create a comic book world on the big screen.
That's true.
Beyond just Superman, and Iron Man's not as interested in that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean they're coming at it in different ways.
Yeah.
All right, what else? What else we got?
We have another super chat.
Nicholas Bodo, that is true. Superman has a way better main villain, and again, it's not fair because of personal biases. Because I also am just a gigantic Lex Luthor fan.
Mm-hmm. His Lex Luthor is really good.
But I admire both of those movies.
I also don't really like Lex Luthor. That's how much his Lex Luthor is good. So $15.
I went wrong somewhere.
$15 from, well, I think it's too much Smallville.
That's fair.
$15 from the Rocket King.
Well, thanks, the Rocket King.
The Rocket King.
That's not even a name I immediately recognized. Do you?
No.
Is that a guy we know?
But he says, Logan, this will be my 13th year being a listener of yours.
Wow.
Thank you for being a nexus of joy and exemplary fandom. Exemplary fandom.
Exemplary.
Exemplary fandom.
He's 15. That's
Infinite love to you and the crew.
Aw. Thanks so much.
I've heard the word exemplary.
Yeah.
Never seen it spelled out.
Oh,
and
okay.
It makes sense now. But
Yeah.
I guess I don't read.
Don't be embarrassed. Everyone's laughing at you, but don't be embarrassed.
John says Clark.
Clark! Yeah, maybe he's commented before and I've never seen his name, or this might be the first time he's ever commented. But thank you for the kind words. That really means a lot, and I love your word choice.
Yeah.
What was it? What was it? He said, Nexus of Joy. No one's ever called me that. That's the nicest thing anybody's ever said to me, actually.
And Austin
I wish
says,
it wasn't too conceited to wear a T-shirt that says Nexus of Joy.
And
But I
Austin
love
says,
that as a phrase.
Austin
Thank
says
you very much.
Smallville ruins everything. So
Hayden sprayed Smallville bad.
Smallville bad.
I mean, what do you want from me? I'm not gonna argue with you guys. It was a very important special thing to me once, and I still have the soft spots with it. But it's very love hate, maybe more on the other side now than it used to be. But I've still got the things I love.
I think it was spending 24 hours at a time.
That was not a good idea. And we've still got 3 more seasons we got to do.
So are you going to do that with the CW?
John and I are going to... People keep asking me that. No. John and I mean, never say never, I guess, but no. John and I want to get to 8 here pretty soon.
Mm-hmm.
I was hoping to work it in this month, and this month has kind of gotten away from me, so I got to talk to John. We're going to schedule it out and try to at least get 8 done before the end of the year. I would love to do at least 8 and 9 finishing this year out, but we've only got 3 left, so it shouldn't be too long before we finally get that finished. Yeah. John and I have lots of other things we want to do together. We just did a Power Ranger stream with you. That was fun.
In there.
Yeah. John Smallville good. I can't believe this hasn't broken John with Smallville yet. That's amazing. Yeah. Okay, any other questions? Anything you see that we should tackle?
No.
Okay, if you guys want to talk about anything else, leave a regular question or a super chat. Totally cool either way. And we're going to go ahead and go to our last segment, but we have enough time that we can always wind it back around to ask me anything. But I think people are just going to keep talking about whether or not Smallville is good, bad, or meh. Nicholas Bodo just gave us a question. Why don't you ask us that?
Yes.
He tagged it to you officially and everything.
Yes. Nicholas Bodo. Do you find it interesting how Gunn's DCU is getting lesser known actors to play beloved DC characters with only very few popular stars like Nicholas Hoult and Nathan Fillion?
Yeah, and even Fillion is not like the most gigantic star, right? Like he's more character actor than anything. At least on the big screen, like he's had his own TV shows, and he had, he's had not 1 but 2 like long running multi-season shows.
Yeah.
But I think in the grand scheme, he's not thought of as a huge actor. It's like I love Philly. I know who that is. I was a Firefly fan. You know, I loved Doctor Horrible,
Yeah.
but I he's not a big movie star.
Right.
But anyway, to that question, it's just traditional, and I really love that about it. Where he's going back to the conventional wisdom that Donner had with Superman, and going to more unknowns or little known actors to play the big superhero characters, and then you'll see more people you recognize probably when you get into bad guys or some supporting characters.
Yeah.
And that's real smart.
Yeah.
So I don't think you'll ever see anything like an Affleck Batman.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Which
Now, is it possible that I mean, I don't know about this. I doubt it. But is it possible that Gunn will have the reins loosened enough with different directors that for their projects they could bring on somebody huge that you know? I mean, yeah, it's possible. Now, I will say, like, Momoa is, of course, at this point really well known, and partly for Aquaman, but also he's playing a Lobo who's more of a bad guy, or at least an anti-hero that's not going to necessarily have his own movie. Now, if he's real popular in Supergirl, like if he's the breakout character, could they later do a Lobo movie? Yes, possibly. So I think you could see exceptions for this, but you can see how those exceptions might happen. It's not going to be we're going after somebody like a Robert Downey.
Yeah. And I feel like the MCU's doing that too. Because they're trying to cast like younger stars for the X-Men movie.
That's a good point.
So, yeah.
So we'll see what happens there. Well, and that's smart just so they've got longevity with those actors.
Mm-hmm.
There's also the question of if they're able to continue to make movies for a long time, like they turn things around and people actually care again, and they don't just totally tank it. If Marvel will change their policy on recasting and do more like Gunn is going to. Because Gunn has come out and said if somebody leaves or ages out or whatever, yes, we'll just cast somebody else. Keep those characters going. It won't be like, Captain America or something, where at some point we just have to retire the character.
Mm-hmm.
So if you had that situation with Evans where he's past his contract, he wants to go, if that was Gunn with DCU, you would have just seen another guy playing Captain America.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
And I just wonder if Feige and those guys might change their mind about that when we reboot.
Mm-hmm.
But I also don't know if it's going to work out long enough for them that it will matter. There is a question with that. And I don't mean to be pessimistic about it. I'd like to think that they'll start making the right calls after they reboot. But I don't trust it. There's no reason to, and they need new blood bad.
Mm-hmm.
We just got another super chat from Joel Davis.
Yes, thank you, Joel Davis.
Appreciate you, man.
All the super chats. $5 from Joel Davis. Do you think the MCU would have been different if Feige had complete control on day one instead of fighting for power with Ike Perlmutter early on?
Oh yeah, without question, certainly, and I'm sure we would have been in a better place because there's a lot of characters that he wanted to give their own movies to that Perlmutter thought just wouldn't sell because he was too worried about merchandising and selling to the main demographic, which in his mind was just white males. And so he's going, well, we can't do the Black Panther because nobody cares about a black superhero. We can't give Black Widow her own movie because nobody cares about female superheroes. Now, the other side of that is, if this is just a question, if Feige had complete control, would he have put certain characters in front of more popular characters or characters that were more likely to sell well early on because of just his own interests or because he was trying to bring in demographics that weren't as likely to be interested? Like, did Perlmutter early on anyway have something of a point? I don't know. Like, I think you'd certainly I want to make it as much about more about these are characters with ideas that we have people that have good pitches for, and we can make cool movies. So like I've always said, it's really dumb we didn't do a Black Widow movie earlier.
Mm.
And like you could have gotten ahead of the female superhero thing. We did not have any good female superhero movies, and you had a chance to get that out before DC could even do Wonder Woman. It's ridiculous you didn't.
Yeah.
And so I have heard that Perlmutter is the reason that didn't happen. On the other hand, if you were doing it just to get ahead of that, you would end up potentially in the same place that you've ended up with some of their later movies, which is we're making movies to make movies, not to tell stories. And so that could be a problem. You see what I'm saying? So like it is more a little bit more complicated than just these things. Like there are cool characters that aren't just white guys. We should make movies about them, and yeah, we should. But there also needs to be good ideas and stories to tell.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so that's the other side of that. But I want to think early on, it would have almost certainly been better if Feige had the reins without Perlmutter there at all.
Yeah.
And he totally should have been able to make a Black Panther movie, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyway, there you go. Playing devil's advocate there a little bit, but I kind of think he was in the headspace of storytelling first, much more so back then.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, Dan says early on during Phase 1, I don't think it would have made jumping to Black Panther or Black Widow would have made sense. However, after that, there was no excuse. Oh, I think so too. But I think Black Widow. Those are two characters with black in their names. I just realized Black Widow after Avengers, somewhere in Phase 3, certainly would have made sense.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think she was necessarily one of the more breakout characters with that, but I loved her in Winter Soldier, and I think you spin her off from that with the attitude she has in that movie, and you've got something.
Yeah.
But I also think that probably is as much of a S.H.I.E.L.D. movie as anything. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not even sure the Black Widow movie should have been a Black Widow movie. I think it should have probably been her and Clint. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Or her and Fury.
Mm-hmm.
But like it only made sense for them to have a duo film.
Yeah. I need to rewatch Winter Soldier. It's been a while.
Mm-hmm. But like she certainly, yeah, we should do that together.
Yeah.
Because you know how much I love that movie, and I haven't watched it in a while. But that she wasn't really a breakout character in Iron Man 2.
No.
And she seemed like odd casting, and it was strange that she wouldn't do a Russian accent and all of that. Like, okay, do you see anything else we should tackle before we get to our final segment?
No. Let's go on to our final segment.
Okay, so I'll say last call for super chats. We can still do more discussion if anybody wants to throw anything in, but we're gonna go ahead and get into our last segment. And Joel Davis says, "R.I.P. Robert Redford." Yeah, and the timing of that was really bizarre.
Who's Robert Redford?
Robert Redford is actually the villain in Winter Soldier. But he's a wonderful actor going way back, and he is in the alternate history of Watchmen running for president at the end of that book. And then he died the day Austin and I reviewed Watchmen.
Wow.
Which is just really strange timing. Because we have this ridiculous superpower where every time we review something, it becomes relevant in some way. And sometimes we apparently accidentally use our powers for evil. I did not mean for that to happen.
Yeah.
I take full responsibility. No, I'm not even sure how old he was. Was he in his 80s? Was he that old? I'm gonna check. I've actually not even looked into how he passed. I just heard that he died. But yes, I certainly don't mean to make fun of him. But yes, rest in peace, certainly.
Writer says, "Hi, I'm here."
89. He was almost 90. So he lived a good long time. That's great. He was not 95 in those photos. Okay, Jason, would you kindly... 95 is the new 89, it's fine. Would you kick us off with our final segment, please, sir?
Yes. So, Friday, we got the longest Nintendo Direct we've ever had, I think. Or, in a while. It was Super Mario Brothers 40th. We got mostly Mario stuff. And we got a couple other weird things.
Really bizarre announcements. Because
We
Nintendo has just gotten very strange and has kind of lost the plot.
We need to talk about that, yeah. Because, like, there are some things where I'm like, yeah, that's exciting, but at the same time, like, would I buy that? Probably not.
Well, and how many things right now with Nintendo, and I know we've talked about this a little bit, so I don't want to rehash it too much, but I'm feeling even more this way than I was when the Switch 2 launched.
Yeah.
Because, well, first of all, let me backtrack and say, when we first got the announcement of Switch 2 and everything that was happening, we were very positive about it.
Mm-hmm.
We were pretty high on it. And then the price point started coming in. Because I don't think we even knew about any game prices when we did our first show on that.
Yeah.
I don't think. I think maybe we knew the console price and we were like, that seems a little steep. And then we started hearing $80 games, and I was like, ooh, I don't know. I'm getting maybe a little bit priced out. And then we started hearing crazy anti-consumer stuff, like they can brick your console at any time if you decide to try to mod your system. And so now it feels like the physical thing you own, you don't really own, because the company that sold it to you can tell you don't get to use it anymore, and you can't even sell it. Yeah. And that's real messed up. And then the key cards, if you're buying those, that's not even like a physical product really, but they're just sort of pretending like it is, and that whole thing is weird, and I don't know how I feel about that. And then just so many remakes at premium prices.
That's my least favorite.
So I'm feeling just real underwhelmed and disinterested in Nintendo right now.
Yeah.
And what I was going to ask you is, how many things are they announcing that would make you go, well, I would be interested in that if it was half the price.
Oh, all of them.
Yeah.
Like, actually. Okay, so I just want to, because you brought up the remakes thing, I just want to start with Galaxy 2.
Yeah.
Because $70 is insane for that. That was a... Like, yeah, I get it.
Well, let everybody know what you're talking about when you say $70.
So, they're putting out Mario Galaxy and Mario Galaxy 2 together
as
on the Switch.
As a combo pack.
On the Switch 1.
Yes.
Together it's $70. Separate Mario Galaxy and separate Mario Galaxy 2 is each $40 each.
Yeah.
Okay, here's the thing. Okay, so one, what was the point of 3D All-Stars? And why couldn't you just put that back in circulation?
Yeah. And just add Galaxy 2 to it.
Yeah.
Maybe charge a little more than you did.
Just do Mario All-Stars, like Mario All-Stars plus Super Mario World.
Yeah.
And do Mario 3D All-Stars plus Mario Galaxy.
I watched a video that suggested what they ought to have done is just make Galaxy 2 DLC for All-Stars, and I said, you can't do that, though, because they made it a limited edition thing. So the only way that works is if they, like you said, reissue it.
Yeah.
But what's stopping them from reissuing it?
Well, because, you see, they have to re-release Mario 64 and Mario Sunshine and Mario Galaxy again.
So what becomes ridiculous about this is that now this is so stupid, the only special thing about the limited edition game you did that you only had in circulation for a very, very limited time.
Yeah.
For, what was it, like a month?
No, it was a few months.
A few months, okay. Yeah. But, that's probably kind of an expensive physical disc now. I'm not sure, but was it not?
That's the thing, is everyone, went and, bought all of them, and then, yeah, there were scalpers that, sell them for crazy prices, but you can get it
You
for
can get it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, and I bought one right away.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't love the way they were doing it, but I wanted to be able to play Galaxy on the Switch.
Yeah.
And anyway, but my point is, the only reason now, after they do this, if you're willing to pay the price for it anyway, the only reason to have the old game is Sunshine, because the other two are playable in other ways. Because Mario
and Sunshine
64
is coming to Switch too.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Uh-huh.
All right.
Yeah. So, the thing is, alright, I got mad, when, they did, this was, like, this is when I first started kind of going against Nintendo. Obviously, you know, everyone else was going against Nintendo earlier than I did.
Yeah.
I started going against Nintendo when they put out Mario vs. Donkey Kong at $50.
That was nonsense.
That was a
He's
complete...
still on about this. He won't stop complaining about it.
Now that's not even that bad. That's the thing. That was a full-on remake that, like, they did it from the ground up, and they added 2 worlds. And yes, it was a Game Boy Advance game that they put out for $50, but these are Wii games that are, like, $20 at vintage stock, and, like...
That they're doing nothing hardly to.
Yeah.
Like, there's a little bit of extra... Like, it's more than they did for All-Stars. But as far as I can tell, it looks like... And I watched a couple of videos on this. People initially assumed that they were actually updating assets in the game. And it's starting to look like they didn't do that, and it's just basic upscaling.
Yeah. Yep.
If they were, here's the thing: if Galaxy 2 especially got a full-blown remake on the Switch, I could see paying $40 for it.
Yeah,
absolutely. Now, let me also say, I've got a positive side and a negative side to this. I'm glad it's actually coming to the Switch and it's not just Switch 2. I will say that.
That somehow makes it worse, though.
Why?
That it's $70.
Well, no, I'm with you about the price point. But
Yeah.
let's forget about the price point for a minute and just say they easily could have done what they're doing with the GameCube, which is not going to be available on Switch. I don't understand why. There's no reason that the Switch 1 hardware can't play that. That's dumb. Let me have that in the expansion pack. That's ridiculous. You've got this whole install base that would love to be able to play that and will continue to pay extra on the expansion pack if only you'll include that. That's really dumb. I don't get it. Unless for some reason it was so hard to emulate that they figured it out on Switch 2 and could it on 1, and I don't buy that. But what do I know? Anyway,
it's the same thing with the new Nintendo 3DS thing with the SNES games. Like,
why?
Yeah.
But yeah, I forgot about that. But anyway, so it was not a given to me if Galaxy 2 came out that they would actually let me buy it on Switch. So there's that. Secondly, I'm glad that at least you don't have to buy the $70 package and you can buy them a la carte. Now,
yes.
$40 a piece is steep, certainly, for 17-year-old games that they're not doing too much to. On the other hand, and I'm not saying this makes it okay, I am just going to cite precedent.
Yeah.
I was one of the saps that paid freaking $60 for Sonic Origins. And if I spend $40 just to be able to have Galaxy 2 on a portable system, I will feel better about that than I did about Origins, which was a broken game. And also, I didn't feel great about $60 for Donkey Kong Country Returns.
Yeah.
Which was also not a full-on remake.
Right.
And they charged way too much for that. I feel better about $40 for Galaxy 2 than I do $60 for that.
Yeah. Well, and also they
say
also charged $60 for Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe. So, which is more of a remake, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know.
I think one of the reasons that Austin just mentioned that Sony's been doing this kind of stuff with remastered games, and I do
do that for years.
I do have to say, I feel differently about it with Nintendo because it's supposed to be the more casual option, the more family-friendly option, and more for kids. They have priced kids out.
Yeah.
And I saw this great comment on a video today. I was watching a lot of stuff about Switch 2, and somebody left this great comment that said, it's weird that Nintendo is pricing kids out to make, with their first party, still mostly real family-friendly G-rated games. Like, they're not making, the hardcore kind of games that, hardcore gamers will spend that kind of money on.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, that is kind of weird. Like, obviously, we got third-party things that will go there.
Yeah.
But anyway,
here's the thing. So
I can't bring myself to do it. I don't know at what point I will finally bite the bullet and get a Switch 2, if ever at this point. Like, I know that at some point there's going to be those games that I'm going to feel like I absolutely have got to have, and it's going to be really hard not to buy it. But there are already a couple things, like certainly Donkey Kong Bonanza, that I would really like to be able to play, but I look at the price point, I don't even feel bad about maybe never playing it, where I'm like, okay, $450, $500 for the system, and then $70 to get that game, and then there's controllers and stuff, and I'm just like, I mean, I guess I can use controllers I've got already.
Yeah.
So I mean, I guess that's nice, but I don't know, that just seems like a lot.
So
for the couple of things I want to play right now. And I get that we're not too far into the system's launch, but the reason that people are freaking out about that Direct is it doesn't look like there's any other very, very big first-party things that aren't remasters coming out this year.
Yeah, I'm trying to yeah.
That we didn't already know about. They didn't announce anything for Christmas.
Yeah,
maybe they will, but it's kind of weird that it's September and we don't have anything besides like Kirby Air Riders and stuff. Like, we know about all that.
Yeah, because I know, I'm pretty sure, also Age of Imprisonment is supposed to be next year too. What is that game? Was Mario Tennis supposed to be next year? And like all that stuff.
I think so.
Yeah. Or did they even announce a release date for all that stuff? Because there was that Fire Emblem game too.
I forgot about that.
And Tamagotchi Life, or whatever that.
And
was.
a Pokemon.
And yeah, Pokemon Animal Crossing, where you play as a Ditto that's transformed into a human. Who wants to play that?
With $30 DLC that's already on pre-order.
Yeah. And they've already announced DLC for one of the games. I don't even remember what it is now, but man.
What would it take for you, let's say money is no object, what would it take to make you go, okay, fine, I gotta have this?
The thing is, money is the only thing stopping me.
Oh, okay.
Because I want Kirby Air Riders.
Right.
And I want Age of Imprisonment, and I want, like, that Mario Tennis game looks really good. Like, they're finally bringing back story mode from the Game Boy Color games. That's awesome.
But does any of this feel $70, $80?
No!
I'm just asking that question. Like,
and here's the thing. So, what was it? 2023? They put out this little game you might not have heard of. It's called Metroid Prime Remastered. And that was amazing game.
Yeah.
I don't know if they did it from the ground up, but it is a huge,
improvement.
I mean, it looks amazing. Like, it does look amazing. And it controls great. That was the death of everything because they priced that at $40.
Yeah.
And everyone bought it, and they were like, okay, now we can start selling remasters for full price because that sold really well, so we can amp up the price. And that's always been my theory, is that was the first of those big remasters that they put out. And they put that out for $40, and it was a big hit.
Well, I think more of it is they probably didn't expect it to sell as well as it did, and then they went, Oh, we can actually charge more for these.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Is that what you're saying? Yeah, and then the game where they really tested the waters with that was Donkey Kong Country Returns, which should never have been a $60 game.
Yep.
And they went, well, let's see, people will buy it. Because I know I've talked about this before, but you got to remember, Tropical Freeze came out not too long after the Switch launched. That's the sequel to that game.
Yeah.
And they charged more for its predecessor.
Yeah, well, and that was even after Mario vs. Donkey Kong and Kirby Return to Dreamland.
Yeah. Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
But those were remasters. This wasn't. That's why I said this was more of a testing the waters for
that was
what can we put no effort into and still charge full price for.
It was that and Luigi's Mansion 2 HD. That was the other one.
Yeah.
Where let's charge full price for a 3DS game. Like, no.
Well, and I've seen videos, and I can't speak to this because I didn't play it on 3DS, but I've seen videos making compelling arguments that Donkey Kong Country Returns is a better game right now on the 3DS than it is on the Switch.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just nuts. I don't know, it's just... I feel if I'm supporting this, like I'm saying, yeah, we'll pay anything. Like, we gotta have it that bad. And I've never been real on the bandwagon of, like I believe in voting with your dollar, but I don't tend to boycott stuff. And this is a place where I'm like, yeah, but if this stuff does too well, they'll know they can do it to you. And you got all these people with buyer's remorse. Mm-hmm. Where I'm like, well, maybe you just should have waited then.
Yeah.
And then there's also just the principle of the thing where I already don't like the idea that I don't own the things I paid for. I certainly, with digital and with, eventually these eShops won't be there anymore. And, like, they want you to pay premium prices for things that won't last. And you're supposed to be okay with them not lasting.
Yeah.
And it's like they think there's some sort of a midpoint between paying for a ticket to go to a movie and owning a product that you play for a long time.
And you're not even allowed to dump those files because they're going to break your system.
That's what I'm saying, is the principle of the thing, it makes me go, I also, even more than the digital issue, where I don't own those, is there's, like I said, a physical thing I purchased that I don't feel like I actually own.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Boy, I don't like it.
Yeah, and I think I've said this to you.
Yeah.
And I haven't said this to on the channel. And we can wrap up.
Yeah.
Soon, but
yeah, we'll write it 2 hours. We gotta finish up here.
There's a game that came out a few weeks ago, which I haven't played because I didn't play that original game. But Hollow Knight Silk Song, indie game made by 3 people.
Which I would have bought already, except I couldn't... Hollow Knight was too hard for me. I couldn't figure it out, and I need to get back to it. But anyway. Really cool-looking game, though.
Hollow Knight Silk Song looks amazing. A team of 3 people.
Yeah.
I think it was 7 years from the original Hollow Knight. $20. Everyone bought it. Like, so many people bought it that it crashed the Steam store. It crashed the Nintendo eShop. It crashed the Xbox, whatever.
Yeah.
Mario Kart World.
And you know what nobody had? Buyer's remorse.
Yeah. Mario Kart World, $80, sometimes $90.
Yeah.
Came out, 11 years after the previous Mario Kart game. No one's on the online, people are having a really hard time finding other people on the online.
Now, I have heard that's a little hyperbolic. Mm-hmm. Like, there's people in there, but it doesn't look like it was supposed to. It doesn't look like, Nintendo expected it to. And I think it is true that there are plenty of people that are already tired of that game that are going back to 8.
Yeah.
And I think 8 will forever be more popular than World, no matter what they do to World.
Yeah. And
And then there's suddenly all of this interest in the new Sonic racing game.
Yeah.
Real quick.
Can we talk about that trailer?
Yeah, because that was such a move
I sent you that.
on Sega's. I can't believe they did that. I can't believe they got away with it.
Yeah. And it's coming out on Switch.
It's coming out on Nintendo systems.
Yeah.
I'm glad that's coming on Switch.
And they're remaking
Switch 1, because I'll buy that.
Yeah, and I think that's worth the... Dude, you can play as, like, Hatsune Miku in a Sonic game. That's awesome.
What is that game called again?
Sonic Racing Cross Worlds.
Cross Worlds, yeah.
They remade, if you haven't seen it.
There's a really cool gimmick where you go into different dimensions inside of a track.
Yeah. So there were a couple days ago, they put out a trailer for it, where they remade the trailer for the original Sonic 1. No, that was Sonic 2, I think, because it was, like, 93. And
I thought it was just generically for Sega as a system, but they were showing us a Sonic game. So they were showing, and I think it was Sonic 1. Okay. I might be wrong, but it was the classic Sega versus Nintendo commercial where you had two cars and there were TVs in the backs of the cars, and one TV is showing Mario Kart on Super Nintendo and talking about how slow it is, and then the other TV is showing Sonic and it's blast processing, they call it.
Yeah, well, and that
look how much faster it is, and these are silly things to compare because it's like you're comparing forward motion mode 7 versus in a racing game versus a 2D platformer where you're supposed to go fast, but it was really effective advertising. This didn't have to do anything disingenuous, because it went, well, there's Mario Kart over here, which everybody says is boring.
Yeah.
And you could just drive around in this boring open world, or you could play Sonic Cross Worlds, which is more like the Mario Kart you used to have and would rather have. And I thought that was spectacular.
Yes, and they brought back the Sega at the end of it.
Yes.
And it's like, oh my gosh.
What was great about it, or what's also funny about it, is they had to blur the footage from Mario Kart World because they have it on Nintendo, and because Nintendo litigates for every damn thing.
Right. No, but that's great. But yeah, no, that.
So I'll buy that.
Yeah.
Kind of on principle, and there is not a bone in my body that feels any FOMO for not playing Mario Kart World right now.
Yeah.
Like, I kind of think if I bought it, I'd do what everybody else is doing and play it for a week and kind of not care after that.
Yeah.
It really looks like... Now, I have not had it in my hands. I might have a different experience with it, but I haven't talked to anybody that hasn't felt that way about it.
Yeah.
And all the gameplay I see of it just looks kind of generic and not all that fun. I don't know. Yeah. And the big selling point for me was the open world, and it sounds like that's the most pointless part of it. Mm-hmm. And so it seems like you have to drive around to find the actual races you want to play. Mm-hmm. And, okay, I'll just play 8. Like, it's 96
boring,
courses that I haven't had enough time with.
Yeah.
So I'll just play 8. I don't know. And there's no battle mode or anything. Like, what are you doing?
And it has the most atrocious character select screen I've ever seen.
You told me that. You know what I would have done with it?
Yeah.
I would have done battle mode. I would have done online battle mode with as many racers as they could get away with. 24, 36, 48. In the open world.
Yeah.
Think about it. You just drive around and you see you can find any random person with a balloon that you could blow up.
No, well, you know what they should do? They should do like Mario Kart Battle Royale, like Mario Kart Battle Mode, a la Fortnite.
Sure.
Just like,
yeah. You make it almost like an MMORPG where you just everybody that's in there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Why didn't they do that?
I don't know.
I don't know either. But anyway, I just don't. Plushing the X just said the same thing you did. It sucks because I keep looking for an excuse to buy it. You know, like, I kind of wanted to get it for, all you guys for the kids for Christmas.
Yeah.
And I don't think I'm gonna.
Yeah.
Not this year.
Now, I am still getting Metroid Prime 4
Yeah.
for Switch 1.
At least they put that on the Switch 1.
Yes. That's...
Oh, we didn't even talk about the crazy Virtual Boy thing.
Yeah. They're not even gonna put out all of the games on there. Like, they're only putting out 14 of them.
So people are talking about that like it's a gigantic troll.
Yeah.
Because what they've done with that is they're, if you haven't heard, they're including on the expansion pack. So already extra content you're paying for, like extra price tag yearly. You get Virtual Boy as a new console, so a failed console that most people don't care about and would never want to play the games of. It's a novelty. It's a weird moment in history. They're really grabbing us for nostalgia. And I don't mean to be a hypocrite, because Jason finds the Virtual Boy infinitely fascinating,
Yeah.
and I bought him one for his birthday last year or the year before, and he was very excited about that,
Yeah.
and happy about it, and has played with it. But most people don't care about this, and we're getting that on Switch 1, but not GameCube. Okay, and you have to buy a peripheral in order to play it. Now, it's kind of neat, I guess, if you care about the nostalgia of this and you don't own an original like we do, because most people aren't going to have that, and it's very expensive now. You have to get a peripheral that looks like an old Virtual Boy that you put your console in, and then you get the stereoscopic 3D effect in it. Mm-hmm. Or you can buy, that's like $100, or you can buy a cardboard version of it for $25, and they
Bring
set
back the cardboard. Let's go.
And they set it up so you have to have the peripheral in order to play it. Yeah. When they very easily could have just made it easy to play on your TV or handheld mode. You don't have to have that thing, but you can buy it if you want it.
Yep.
Why are they doing that?
Because it's Nintendo.
It's been emulatable for decades.
And also
outside of having the thing.
And also putting the screen to your face is not even the best way to play those games.
No.
Like,
nobody's going to want to do that. At first I thought it was sort of cool, because I was like, okay, people will get to play that Wario Land game, which is a really good game.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And then and they won't have to have that thing up on their face.
And
then they went, yeah, but the only way we're going to let you play it is the reason the system bombed.
Yeah. Yeah. And also it still doesn't have a strap, and it's still like like every problem with the Virtual Boy they kept. And like, it's really funny because they randomly care about the Virtual Boy now after like 20 or 30 years of not caring.
Well, yeah, because, I mean, it sold horribly, and they canceled it very quickly.
To be fair.
And now they're like, they think people are so nostalgic for anything they do that a system that completely bombed, all of a sudden, people that didn't care about it back then will buy now.
To be fair.
And it's worse because you have to pay for you have to buy a physical thing to play games that you will not be able to play forever. Mm-hmm. That's crazy. Anyway, I'm sorry, what?
Yep. You have to buy and also you have to buy $100 thing. You have to have the expansion pack. You have to have, like, it's like, and who cares enough to do that?
Like, at this point, I'm going to spend the extra money on the couple of cartridges for Virtual Boy games that you're still interested in that are kind of pricey.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Just because it's still more cost effective for us anyway.
Yeah.
Because we own one already. Than doing this. Like, if you think about it, if you had it for long enough, it would catch up to what we paid to buy the original.
Yeah.
Which was expensive.
Yeah. You know what will be hilarious?
But I got it in box, and the thing looks brand new.
Yeah.
Like,
you know what will be amazing, though?
What's that?
If the Virtual Boy has sold more than that thing.
Yeah.
Because it will. Like that.
I'm wondering if you'll be able to play other games through the Virtual Boy headset.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because that would be sort of a selling point. as a novelty, but you still wouldn't want to do it much.
No.
The only thing that would almost make me buy one would just be to make a video of one of us playing it out in public and pretending like it's supposed to be a portable system.
Mm-hmm.
But then we could do that now.
We can do that with the virtual.
We could actually do that now.
Yeah.
Anyway, any final thoughts on this? This is mostly just us going back and saying, okay, we know more things about the Switch 2, and we still can't bring ourselves to buy one.
Yeah. Well, and also, to be fair, it is the 30th anniversary of the Virtual Boy.
That's probably why they're doing it.
Yeah. They're like, oh man, what are some anniversaries? I don't know. Maybe F-Zero? Maybe Pilot Wings? Maybe, I don't know. Those had anniversaries this year. I don't know.
They'll just make Virtual Boy games for those franchises.
Next year, because what? Was the SNES at 91?
91.
Okay, well then next year.
I do think you're going to get a big F-Zero thing next year.
And some N64 thing, probably, right?
I would imagine.
Yeah.
Well, anyway. Thanks a lot for watching, everybody. We're going to go ahead and bid you farewell.
Mario 64 Remastered. $200.
I don't know. I hope enough people vote with their wallets where they will be forced to back some of this off.
Yeah.
Because it just doesn't seem worth it to me. I don't mean to be cheap. I care, but not this much.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem. And some people will make the argument, well, this is just where inflation has gotten us. And I'm like, nah, they're taking advantage of us, though.
They are.
If you think about how long they stayed at a $10 lower price point than everybody else, where they would increase, but they wouldn't catch up to the other consoles. And then you think about the fact, I'll just say this real quick, and then you think about the fact that the Switch 2 is still technically behind. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
If they... What I've heard is that it's, on the low end... the high-end PS4 and at the highest end, almost at an S or maybe right around an S, it would need to be in as good in as good a shape. The technical specs would need to be as good as a PS5 or a Series system.
Yeah. And I would...
Or a Series X, and it's not. And so, but they're charging as much or more.
Yeah.
For their first-party games. That's crazy.
Well, and their games...
That's not... You can't just say inflation.
Yeah, and they're charging more for their games than Xbox. Because Xbox...
Yeah.
Because isn't the thing where Xbox decided to go up to $80 games when Nintendo did?
And then they backed
down?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because they're great.
They're just doing some crazy...
Xbox.
We've talked a lot about crazy Nintendo anti-consumer stuff.
Yeah.
But they're going next level. And we didn't even talk about the patents. Where they're doing patents on things that aren't even inventions that you shouldn't be able to patent.
Yep.
But anyway, we'll save that for another time. Thanks a lot for watching, everybody. We appreciate you. We'll see you again real soon. I was Captain Logan.
I was Jason.
And
I was Jason.
He's not going to let me live that down. We will see you guys again real soon. Thanks a lot for watching. Thanks for the support. And have a wonderful week. Bye, everybody.
I wanna take you for a ride.